If you are a language learner, this might be just for you. Whether you are starting to learn a new language or already an advanced or intermediate learner, pay attention because in this video, we will talk about the tips and tricks I use to study the languages I am currently studying. It doesn't matter how far you are with learning the language. It is important for you as a language learner to interact with the language on a daily basis. For example, when waking up in the morning, getting ready for bed, or when you're on your way to school or work, you can listen to a podcast or the news when getting ready. How much you actually understand doesn't matter too much when doing this. It's all about letting your brain get to know the language, allowing your brain to look for words and phrases you have studied before, even if it's just a background noise. In addition to this, watching a series or film in the languages you're learning can really help. If you are a little further along, try to change the subtitles from your mother tongue to the original language. This way you can still manage to follow what is going on and practice your comprehension abilities while still enjoying some good shows. Many people struggle to make sentences, even when they know the sentence structure of the language they're trying to speak in. This is often because they still lack in vocabulary. Therefore, it is crucial to write down new words you hear or read on flashcards. Of course, when listening to the news, there will probably be a bunch of words that you do not understand. Try to write down some key terms that are repetitive in that one podcast you're listening, or that one episode you are watching, and study them before going to bed. If you are studying Korean, you might see this a lot on YouTube. I've noticed that the videos I see on this platform of people self-studying Korean are mostly just them taking notes on grammar points and making flashcards. I'm not saying taking notes is unnecessary. In fact, I think you should put in time and effort to learn new grammar points occasionally. But the focus shouldn't be on taking pretty notes and reading through grammar points on howtostudykorean.com. Learning a language requires practice, and even more practice. This is not a huge thing, but if you have gotten the hang of a language you're learning, you could try and change the default setting of your device to that language. It can be weird and uncomfortable at first, but it will help broadening your vocabulary and make you feel more comfortable when confronted with the language. If you were raised with more than 2 languages, you will probably know the struggle of speaking that one language but not being able to write or read in it. This is why it's important to put in efforts to read and write in that one language you are learning occasionally, especially if the language has a completely different alphabet like Arabic. If you are a beginner in learning a language, you can always start with using short stories for children, but if you are further along, maybe try and see if you can read news articles and at least understand the main storyline. I think we all know apps like Duolingo and Memorize. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of learning off of language apps alone, but I do still use them on a daily basis to keep that interaction and read discussion forums, get to know new grammar points and sentence structures, and discover some new words I did not know of yet. Even if I didn't have the time to study French, for instance, it's easy and quick to use apps like Duolingo when you're on the way or right before bed. Because remember, learning a language requires practice every day, so small things like using Duolingo can still be helpful. This was today's video, and I hope you all found this useful, and please leave a like and comment.